Hey guys, 2 videos in a day. That's pretty crazy. I went for none for a year, and now I'm doing 2 in a day. So this is basically about how I've been post-op hysterectomy for about a year. I had my hysterectomy done laparoscopically here in Pasadena, California. And I felt like initially my recovery was actually easier than my top surgery. I had a lot more pain when I had my top surgery than I did when I had my hysterectomy. I did spend a night in the hospital, and pretty much don't remember most of that night. But they had me up and walking the next morning, and when I got home, I anticipated having to take the Vicodin that was prescribed to me, and I didn't end up taking it. I didn't need anything above the ibuprofen that I was also prescribed because it was a higher dose or milligram. But that's all I needed. Aside from sneezing or coughing, that was the extent of my pain. I'd say psychologically it was a little bit challenging for me. I didn't initially experience any bleeding, so I had to buy pads and stuff, which was not comfortable at all. And but I understood, like for the greater good, basically, I was going to get to a place where I felt this was short term, this was not permanent. And initially I didn't have any bleeding or discharge, and I was like, oh, maybe I won't. And it was just because I had been laying down, I think, flat for a couple days, and then when I actually started getting up and walking around again, it's like gravity. Everything started to come out. And so I did have some discharge for a few days on and off there. It wasn't horrible. It was not a lot. I'd imagine that varies from person to person and by procedure, because of the laparoscopic procedure does cut down on a lot of bleeding. So I think that may have something to do with it. But yeah, so I'm gonna show you my scars. Ignore my belly. But here we go. Let's see here. So let's see here. Okay, I'm not even in the frame. All right. So I have one incision right here. I have this one on this side. And these two right here. There's actually one very small, I had an incision where they put a hole in for the air, because they basically inflate your stomach, and then they, so that all your organs there's room for them to work around in there. And I had one tiny little hole from that, but it was like nothing. So I do try and put something on them. They're actually pretty flat, and have darkened, like from that red to more of like a darker color. So they're not quite like bright and screaming out. And they actually healed pretty well. I did have issues because they glued them shut. There wasn't like, I don't know. So I had problems where the glue like came off, and it looked like the incision was very wide. And so I had put the tape strips on to try and bring it back together, but I ended up having like allergic reaction to the adhesive on the tape, so then I was all sorts of messed up. But that's why I have one on my one side it is pretty wide compared to the others. But otherwise there wasn't a lot of pain. I actually felt pretty good pretty quickly, and I did manage to get my insurance to cover the majority of it. Some of it I did have to pay for. But I was grateful that I could get them to do that. I did have to fight with them a little bit. This was prior to the law passing here in California, saying that the insurance companies, or it was just around the time, insurance companies could not deny a medically necessary trans procedure. And my doctor had put that she felt this was necessary for my health, and they had said, well, we won't cover a hysterectomy for a man. That's just not possible. So I had to temporarily convert my insurance back to female so that they could cover the surgery. And I just decided, rather than fighting with them over the politics of it all, I would just do it and get them to cover it, because I'd rather have that than have to pay for it. So there was that. But otherwise, you know what? I felt really good. I haven't had any serious issues with hormone levels since then. I did cut the level of testosterone that I was taking down, but last I had my labs checked, they actually said it was a little bit too low. So I'm actually going in tomorrow to have labs done again, and we'll see where I'm at with that. But for now, you know, I still feel okay. I don't feel really weird. They told me I could experience some like menopause symptoms, so like hot flashes and whatnot, and I didn't really have any of that. I think I maybe had one, but I had those when I had started T, so I don't know if that was maybe part of the reason I didn't have that such severe reaction to having a hysterectomy. So yeah, if you have questions, feel free to ask. I'm pretty much an open book. But yeah, I wanted to post a little bit about that. I meant to do it pretty much a year ago, and it didn't happen. So yeah, hit me up and check out my last video, which had to do with the binder project that I am working on right now. And take care.